Hey everybody, this is Beth Townsend and I'm very excited to share with you a video that we've prepared for you, and it's really about the Christian media that's gaining momentum. We went to the Mississippi Gulf Coast in July and got to interview several people thanks to the Mississippi Centers for Autism, especially thanks to Tara Dickey for helping us arrange and meet with everyone. Many people were there, but the people that we were able to interview are on both sides of Christian media. Dr. Cameron Lewis is the executive producer of A Question of Faith, and with him was the director of the movie, Kevin Otto, and also Amber Nelon, who starred as Michelle in the movie. So you're going to hear from them not only their personal lives, but their perspectives on being in the movie and being in the industry. Also, very interesting, you'll enjoy hearing from Michelle Duffy, who is with D3 Entertainment. They're very big in many of the movies that you've seen promoted, and she has not only an interesting life story, but a very powerful understanding of the potential of media to change the world. So we enjoyed talking to her. And finally, T.C. Stallings. Huge movie star, the #1 movie in America, War Room. He was starred as Tony and was also in Courageous, and we're sure that you're going to see him in a lot more movies upcoming, as well as on the production side. We don't want you to just enjoy the video. We want you to be inspired by it. We want you to learn from it, because these are experts that are investing in us and teaching us what they've learned. So we want you to also go follow us. Baton Rouge Christian Life Magazine.com. We have many social media platforms. Go follow us, because we're gonna come back with more on this topic, and we're gonna stay on it, because we know the way to change the world is one story at a time. We just want to share our story with excellence. Thank you so much. Stay tuned.
Football is a sport I picked up very, very quickly as a young kid. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and it was just a way to get out of Cleveland. It was just, I put everything into it, I put my energies into it, and so the Lord allowed me to play, because He was at some point was going to use that to teach me what it truly means to be on His team. So that kind of started my way of knowing what it meant to be a true Christ follower. He said, hey, give me the effort that you give football, and I'll change your life. So I prayed before my games, I prayed before I ate, and that was really it. That's what I thought being a Christian was. You do these religious things, you carry that all the way through college, so that's like, a good 10, 12 years of doing that. But then you run into somebody who really knows what it means to be a true Christ follower, open up the Bible in front of me, and I'm reading scriptures and seeing what lukewarm means, and not everyone who says Lord, Lord will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only those who do the will of the Father. Matthew 7:21. And so it was hard, because when I started trying to obey that, it became more difficult to me, because now Satan's really attacking. But then I learned what the Holy Spirit's power is all about. So all my growth really came in college, and so it was a tough period, but God got me through it. Well, the acting thing came about. You play around with it when you're young. You do church plays and things like that, and those were always fun. But when I got my life changed in college, and I started understanding that God has to have my heart and control my dreams and desires, that is when He shifted my passions, because I went and saw a movie, Fireproof. And that's when I really kind of got onto what the Kendrick brothers were doing, and my heart just starts to beat for film and television right there in the theater, because I'm looking at people in this movie feeling like they want to change their marriage or do better from a film. So when I saw that power, I said, man, I feel like I want to do this. But I had learned that at this point, you don't just plan your stuff. You need to run it through the Lord. So I prayed about it. I said, Lord, it looks like the Kendrick brothers are responsible for this. I said, then I'm praying about working with the Kendrick brothers. If you allow me to work with them, then I know you call me to this. And the next year, I got my first role in Courageous. I just asked God to give me a platform to be a content creator. And I don't want to be at the mercy of other people to get it done. Just like all the other big studios in Hollywood, I want one that glorifies Him. And so, I've started Purpose Studios. And that's right. And so my company is Team TC Productions, and we want to produce our own content, and we want to look for those who don't want to compromise their faith and give them an opportunity. Even though not everything will be a spiritual film, the stuff will be clean. You will not have to cover your kids' ears. You won't have to cover their eyes, and they can watch the commercials. That's what I'm trying to do. So it's a big, big vision, but that's what God does His thing with. So I'm excited about it.
My brothers and I grew up singing in church, and so my mom actually also birthed that. We always had music and entertainment in our system based on her always pushing us to the forefront and go sing whether we wanted to or not. And so after many years of working in the music business, I was running a record label for CC Winans. Probably 2003, really, I envisioned working in television and film, wrote it on my vision board, started doing research on how to get involved in the industry. I took a Hollywood 101 class, which sounds so simple and ridiculous, but I did, and it helped to prepare me for what I didn't know was right around the corner. Because we have been doing independent marketing for music for so long, the industry as a whole recognized our talent, or at least a few people did, and a movie marketing company came to me and said, hey, you guys, you know everyone in this African American faith and family space. Do you think you could lend your expertise to a movie and do the marketing? Before I even thought about it, I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. That movie happened to be very successful for us, and really the floodgates just opened. That's the best way to put it. So God really was the wind behind our backs and to push us forward. I think if people understand that, where God has you in life, especially if you're participating in His plan, it's for a reason. And He needs you to be at certain areas in your life, at certain positions, at certain stop points, so that He can show Himself strong. It's the children of Israel at the Red Sea. It's like if they had decided to make a left turn or a right turn, you miss the whole opportunity for God to actually do something incredible, to part the Red Sea. And I think a lot of us try to run from our story and from our situation, but if you just stay the course, your story is going to turn into one of the greatest stories of all time, and that story turns into many of the movies that we've seen today. It's important to own your truth, to own your story, to be comfortable in it, to not compare yourself to anyone else or anyone else's journey. Then you get to exactly where God needs you to be so that He can absolutely flourish what He's planted in you.
We were born and raised in church, but this is one thing they did that I can thank God every day for. They didn't throw it in our face of walking down to church and know that you're saved or you want to accept Christ. They didn't push it on us. A lot of times we'll try to do things because we feel like throw it on your kids at an early age when you don't know. I wouldn't have known at 5 years old. I mean, I heard about Jesus, but is it actually real unless I knew it for myself? So I didn't know it for myself until I was 14 years old, until 1995, August of 1995. And I knew for sure that God is real, that there is a God out there, And so I thank God for my parents who let me understand to make a decision for myself as opposed to just throwing something, forcing me for something I didn't even know anything about. It's one thing about you to tell your children and let your children and you give them the information they need, but it's another thing for them to secure it for themselves, to actually know it for themselves. And that's how you have to. I thank the God for allowing me to open a business, to be an independent surgeon that I am. When I graduated in 2014 from oral and maxillofacial surgery residency from New York Medical College, one thing that I did is that I prayed about what He wanted me to do. Did you want me to go and sign a contract in a practice, or did you want to be independent? So did you want me to open a business and where I can be able to have leeway myself? Because my vision don't just stop with oral surgery. Right. It stops bigger than that because God has so much work in store for me to do to serve His people. So in order for that, I had to read up on something whenever you start a business, and it said right then and there in Deuteronomy 8:18, remember the Lord thy God, for it is He that gives you the power to get wealth, which He may establish His covenant, which He shares with His Father as it is this day. And once I learned that and realized that He gave me that word, it's like, you gave me the power to get it. So I need to go out and reach what I need to do and open a business where you want me to further to do the work that you have for me, sir, to do. You have to do the work. Don't just be a talker. Go and do the work. Put in action of what you say. If you say you're going to do something, mean it and do it. Don't say because, I want to do this, but it gets hard and stop. You have to persevere. You have to dedicate yourself, commit to yourself. You got to be very strong-minded in what you want to do. No matter what kind of obstacle that sets you back, if that's what you really, really want to do, and God set that for you to do, you will get it. Faith without work is completely dead. And we all know that. It's going to take the work. You have to do it. It's not that we're here. You're not here just to be served. You are here to serve. So if everyone realizes that we can all help each other, is that you are not just a servant. You are a person who is serving people. You are here to bless others just as well as you're being blessed.
I started off working for a company that we did Lifetime movies and Hallmark movies and stuff. And this is about 2008 or 9, somewhere around there, and Fireproof came out, and these guys, the head of the company was like, "Hey, aren't you a preacher's kid? Yeah, we want you to do one of those Christian movies for us. We want to do a Fireproof," because it really kind of rocked Hollywood that this $500,000 film had this big box office success, and so we did a movie called What Would Jesus Do? And it was based on Charles Sheldon's book, In His Steps, where the term WWJD actually came from. And that movie did really well, and from there, went on and did another, and then moved to Nashville and did some more, and then the producers of A Question of Faith contacted me, and went to Atlanta, Georgia, and shot that amazing film. The script definitely has to be good. The acting, the team that's in place, there's so much more to it. What I always call I also have a military background, so I talked about the beans and bullets side of it too. A lot of people think you get a camera and you get some actors and you shoot a movie, but there's so much more to it logistically, and making sure that you are looking at all the aspects of filmmaking.
My grandfather is Rex Nelon, and he started the Nelons, the Rex Nelon Singers, in 1977. Started the group, and then my mom joined later on when she was 13 years old. She joined as the alto singer, and I came along later on in life, long time later on in life, and now it's the third generation. It's me and my sister, so it's really neat, to be the third generation of a singing family that's very kind of unheard of. And we just really want to honor what my grandfather started. We want to carry it on, and we want to make sure that we do it the right way, and we always try to hold a godly standard for everything that we do. And I think that he would be proud of who we are and what we're doing, and continuing on what he started out a long time ago. Our music, Southern gospel music, is not a well-known genre to younger people, but since me and my sister came along, we have really reached out to a younger audience and have tried to reach them and bring them in and let them hear what we do. And it seems to have grown a lot, not just us. There's a ton of other young people in our industry that have done that. And so I've enjoyed watching younger people come to know the music that I've grown up loving my entire life. It's been cool to just kind of share that with them and show them that Christian music is cool. It's okay, it's the coolest music there is.
It is.
And we love it. A Question of Faith was a dream come true for me. I had always wanted to act. I had never thought really seriously about it. I knew that my gift from God was singing, and that's just the path that I've gone down and followed my whole life. This opportunity came about, and I didn't know if I could do it. At the time, I was dealing with some vocal issues, and I had found out that I had nodules on both my vocal cords, and anybody that knows anything about nodules means that you're supposed to take a break.
Rest.
Yeah, you got to take a long rest. And so when I read the role for Michelle, it talked about how she lost her voice, and she went through this really hard struggle of just finding her identity. And I knew what that felt like. I knew what it felt like to lose the gift that you're supposed to be using for God. And when you cannot use it, and there's nothing you can do to fix that at the moment, you feel so helpless. Through me going through that situation, I figured out that there were other gifts that I had that I could use for God, and I figured out that God doesn't need me to be, to be shown have His glory shown. He just uses me as a vessel, and if I'm just willing to be open and be used however, He can make His glory known to anybody. So when I accepted the role, I looked at it in that way and thought, you know what, I can be that, and that's not acting. I can really relate to that character, and I've been through it and know what that character felt like. A Question of Faith was it's been a blessing, it was an honor. And I just hope that maybe one day down the road God allows me to do it again. And the cast became family to me. We still keep in touch. And it's just been an amazing journey.